Welcome back. Tonight, I have 3 scary stories for you. Stories you won't soon forget. Lock your doors, turn off the lights, and listen carefully. My name is Sarah, and I'm 28 years old. Even after all these years, the events of my high school days still send a chill down my spine. It was my sophomore year, and I remember our school as a grand old building, filled with both history and a tone of unease that I could never quite place. There was an area in the basement that was off limits to students, rumored to have been the site of a tragic accident decades ago. One fateful afternoon, curiosity got the better of me and my friends. We decided to explore the forbidden basement, dismissing the warnings of our teachers as mere folklore. Armed with just our cell phones for light, we ventured down the creaky stairs. The air was damp and heavy the further we delved. Then we heard it, soft whispers that seemed to pour from the very walls themselves. At first, we thought it was just our imaginations, a trick of the echoing tunnel, but as we crept deeper, the whispers became clearer, saying my name and urging me to come closer. I felt a cold shiver race down my spine as I realized the voices were pleading, not threatening. Drawn by an invisible force, I stepped away from my friends. They tried to pull me back, but I couldn't resist the urge to listen. Then, as I reached a particular spot on the wall, I placed my hand against it. Suddenly, the voices erupted into a cacophony of screams. I jerked back in shock, only to find my friends had vanished. Panic surged through me. I was alone in an ominous silence, save for the sound of my own heart racing. I stumbled back the way I came and finally made it back upstairs, breathless and terrified. When we regrouped, my friends were pale and silent, each thinking the others had convinced me to turn back. As we recounted our experiences, we realized we couldn't quite remember what happened after I touched the wall. From then on, I would often wake up at night hearing my name whispered, always leading me back to that basement. Years later, I learned the truth about the basement's past. It was used for secret experiments on students deemed troublesome. Those who had vanished? Many were never found, and their souls were said to linger. To this day, I wonder if I am one of them, forever haunted by an experience I wished I could forget. My name is James, and I'm 30 years old. You might laugh at this, but during my final year in high school, I encountered what I thought could only exist in horror films: a ghost that haunted our gymnasium. That night, we were preparing for our homecoming basketball game. The gym was supposed to be full of cheering fans, but I stayed late to help with the setup. As the last of the lights flickered, I heard the unmistakable thump of a basketball bouncing in the empty gym. Intrigued, I followed the sound into the darkened space, the echoes amplifying my fear. "Hello," I called out, expecting one of the janitors to be playing tricks on me, but only silence answered. As I turned to leave, I caught sight of a figure in the corner, cloaked in shadow. It flickered into visibility, an ethereal girl, dressed in a tattered cheerleading uniform from decades past, despair written all over her face. Before I could react, she pointed towards the trophy case. Intrigued but terrified, I approached. There, I read the inscription about a cheerleader who had died tragically on the night of homecoming in an accident. The details were eerily familiar. That night mirrored our preparations, suggesting I was being warned. In desperation, I turned back to ask the girl how I could help her move on, but she was gone, replaced by the faint sound of a basketball bouncing again. The following day, during the homecoming game, the gym erupted in chaos as a freak accident involving a falling banner almost took the life of one of our cheerleaders. The girl in the gym wasn't haunting me. She had been trying to save a new cheerleader from meeting her fate, just as she did. I realized too late that she had relived that horrific night for decades, and it seemed my destiny was intertwined with hers. The gym was both a battleground and a sanctuary for the lost, forever etched in my memory. My name is Alex, and I'm 29 years old. The terror I felt as a child still lingers in my heart, specifically during my 5th grade sleepover at a friend's house. I can recall every detail as if it were yesterday. His family lived in a sprawling old home with odd corners and creaking floors, which only fueled my overactive imagination. That night, after the laughter and games subsided, we lay down on sleeping bags, trying to fall asleep. As the clock struck midnight, I noticed a strange shadow creeping along the wall near the bed. At first, I thought it was a trick of the light, perhaps a passing car. But when I looked closer, I saw it distinctly take the form of a dark figure, crouched ominously beneath the bed. I panicked and whispered to my friend about what I saw, but he dismissed me, insisting it was just my imagination. Then I heard it, a whisper emanating from the shadow. It called to me, promising secrets and adventures, seductive in its melody. Curiosity mixed with fear, compelling me to peer underneath the bed. Just as I did, the shadow lunged at me, and I jumped back, shrieking. My friend woke up and laughed it off, attributing it to Halloween stories. But the whispers grew louder, taunting me as the lights flickered. It was as if the darkness itself was alive, teasing and playing with my mind. In the morning, I found my friend asleep and the shadow was gone. We laughed it off and partook in breakfast. But when I returned home, I noticed something peculiar. The shadows around my house became darker, and I often woke up feeling as if something was watching me at night. Revealed itself years later. Our school was underneath the site of an old orphanage, known for tragedies that were long buried. The spirit I encountered hadn't taken a physical form, but instead had latched itself onto me, using my childhood fears to bind me to its anguish. I never forgot that sleepover, and each night the whispers still seep into my dreams, forever reminding me of the shadows that lurk where innocence once thrived. If you enjoyed these true scary stories, consider subscribing for more real horror experiences, and don't forget to stay alert, because the next story might just happen to you.